Good morning, all. Yesterday we completed about the job description, and today the job we can see the performance appraisal. You can appraise the teachers. That is the by evaluating as your clinical side. We are giving administration. You are giving a performance appraisal of the head nurse and staff nurse. Likewise, here also in teaching how we can assess the performance. So, performance appraisal refers to the task of rating and assessing the individual performance and abilities at work. According to Ambuja, that is their own individual performance and work they should be assessed. Performance appraisal refers to all formal procedures used in working organization to evaluate personalities and contributions and potentials of group members. Their personalities, how they are working, how they are giving your classes, how they are performing in your classes, that all things you should assess and give your opinion. Importance of performance appraisal: it helps to determine the training needs of an employee, providing adequate feedback to each individual for his or her performance, improving or changing behavior towards some working habits, then planning for promotions, transfers and job rotations to enhance staff development and motivate personnel toward higher achievement. That's the performance appraisal helps in many ways. That's the determining the training needs of an employee. Then providing adequate feedback to each individual. That's in working habits, planning for promotions, transfers and job rotations to enhance staff development and motivate personnel toward higher achievement. Principles: that's the objectives of appraisal are identified to all. Results by appraisal are clearly understood. The appraisal process is valued by an organization. Organization, the appraisal process occurs consistently. The supervisor has received education and training in the use of appraisal process and tool. Clear and concise role delineation and the job description enable employee, employer and client to know the duties and responsibilities of the job. Then assess performance in relation to behaviorally stated work goals. Then performance appraisal tools, we can assess their performance by these tools: trait rating scales, job dimension scales, behavioral anchored rating scales, BAS, checklist, essays, self-appraisals, management by objectives, MBO, peer review. Trait rating scales. A trait rating scale, first one we can see the trait rating scale. It's a scale method that's rating a person, which may be the job description, desired behaviors or personal traits. Their job description, according to the job description, they are behaving, then they are achieving their goals. That likewise, that we have already taught according to the assistant professor, tutor, principal, professor, these all categories I have explained. By this you know what are their roles and responsibilities, duties and responsibilities in each position. So according to that you can rate rate the person. Rating personal traits and behaviors is the oldest type of rating scale. Rating scales are subject to central tendency and halo and horns effect errors and thus are not used as often. Job dimension scale. It is a scale to measure job satisfaction. Job dimension scale require that rating scale to be constructed for each job's classification. The rating factors are taken from the context of the written job description. Then behavioral anchored rating scales. It's sometimes called behavioral expectation scales. Behavioral anchored rating scales are scales used to rate performance. Bars are normally presented vertically with a scale points ranging from 5 to 9. It's an appraisal method that aims to combine benefits of narratives, critical incidents, and quantified ratings by anchoring a quantified scale with a specific narrative examples good, moderate, poor and poor performance. Appraisal tools firmly grounded in desired behaviors can be used to improve performance and keep employees focused on the vision and mission of the organization. Then coming to the checklist. There are mainly three types of checklist: weighted scale, forced checklist, simple checklist. That is it's a weighted scale. It's a composed of many behavioral statements. That's the person many behavioral statements that represent desired by job behaviors. Each of these behavioral statements has a weighted score attached to it. Employees receive an overall performance appraisal score based on behaviors or attributes. Then forced checklist to requires the supervisor to select an undesirable and a desirable behavior for each employee. Both desirable and desirable behaviors have quantitative values. That's why an employee is desirable and non-desirable. That both the sides we are taking forced checklist, and according to that the quantitative values are also we are assessing. Employee again ends up with a total score which is certain employment decisions are made. Simple checklist composed of numerous words or phrases describing various employee behaviors or traits. The rater is asked to check all those that describe the employee on each checklist. A major weakness of all checklists is that there are no set performance standards. This the major weakness in this simple checklist is that there are no set performance. That is a simply it has formed, and it's a according to their words and phrases according to what they are, but there is a no detailed has given no detailed explanations in this checklist. Then essays, it's often referred that free from form of review. The appraiser describes its narrative form and employee strength and areas where improvement or growth is needed, and there is a greater opportunity for personal bias. Self-appraisal, it refers to self-evaluation where an employee expresses his views and points regarding his feedback on his or her performance. In this process, the employee examines his or her strength, weakness, accomplishments and any problems faced. Then management by objectives. It incorporates both the employee's assessments as well as the organization. Steps. Thus, employee and the supervisor meet and agree on the principal duties and responsibilities. The employee sets short-term goals and target dates in cooperation with the supervisor or manager. Both parties agree on the criteria that will be used for measuring and evaluating the accomplishment of goals. A time frame is set for completing the objectives which depend on the nature of work being planned. We should overthink that is a specific time should be mentioned, and regularly more than once a year the employee and supervisor may discuss the progress. So that is the in supervisor in our college of nursing, that is the principal and the employee that's the employee should be meet and they should assess their progress. All these meetings some modifications can be made to be original goals if both parties agree. Some modifications also should be considered. The manager's role is supportive, assisting the employee to reach goals by coaching and counseling. During the appraisal process, the manager determines whether the employee has met the goals. The entire process focus on outcomes and results, not on personal traits. Then advantages. Vested interest in the employee to accomplish goals because employees are able to set their goals. Spirit of teamwork. Disadvantage. Highly directive and authoritative managers find it difficult to lead employees to this in this manner. Then peer review. Peer review is the evaluation work by one or more people of similar competence or producers of work. That's the professional peer review is the focus on performance of professionals with the view to improving quality, upholding standards or providing certification. In academia, peer review is common in decisions related to faculty advancement and tenure. That's in their own faculty itself they are making peer reviews. Then scholarly peer review, it's also known as referring, is the process of subjecting and other scholarly work, research or ideas to scrutiny of others who are experts in the same field before a paper describing this work is published in a journal. That's the we are in our situation, the teachers have the opportunity to their publish an article in the journal, and there itself that the same department, that's in OBJ department, OBJ higher authorities, they should have the responsibility. They will should go through our journal and they will mark, and they will give scholarly peer review. They will mark us and give us an good enhancement. If it is a bad, they will give their instructions also. That is the scholarly peer review. Then process of performance appraisal, that is the first one, establishing performance standard, communicating the standards, measuring the actual performance, comparing the actual with the desired performance, discussing the results. That's the same scholarly peer review, the same meaning itself, it's coming. The process, how first we should giving an input and any topic about the we are giving, then they are discussing that's the regarding that topic. Then by that discussing, they will give to some measuring tools they will have kept, and according to that they will compare, and finally they will give an result. That's the steps. Then roles and responsibilities. A principal must schedule performance appraisal for every teacher. That's the principal. She should then assign the school and notify each teacher when appraisal is being scheduled. Meet with the teacher to prepare for the classroom observation component and discuss the competencies that will be the focus of this observation. For example, the teachers also should make some lesson plan, and before entering the class, teacher should prepare some lesson plan and how that they are going to teach to the students, how they are, that all things should be principal should evaluate, and she should assess. These all are routinely day by day we are facing that all things. Prepare and sign a summative report on the performance appraisal using the approved form. Give the teacher a signed copy of summative report within 20 school days of the classroom observation. Conduct a classroom observation to appraise the teacher's performance in relation to the applicable competencies. Upon a teacher's request, meet with the teacher to discuss the performance appraisal once the teacher has received a copy, the summative report. Provide the board with a signed copy of the summative report. Then obstacles of the effective performance appraisal. Lack of support from top management, resistance on the part of the evaluators, evaluate biases and rating errors which result in unreliable and invalid ratings, lack of clear objective standard performance, failure to communicate purposes and results in unreliable and invalid ratings, lack of suitable appraisal tools. Okay, these all are the performance appraisal while we are assessing a teacher. As a student, you can assess the teacher and you can maybe give some marks when you can find out the merits and demerits in teachers. That's the tool, and it will helpful for the teachers also for their future education. Okay, thank you all.